Recording.
Technically, I guess we could get started if you want to at 7.
Let me just, if you don't mind, can I just see? Is the phone number ending in 9961? Does this happen to be Tree Board Member Koval?
You muted? Yeah.
I have.
Hey, Alyssa, yes, this is Brody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you, and I'm just going to leave you allowed to talk.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Call to order the tree board meeting for the city of Tumwater, Monday, January 12th, 2026. Call to order. We'll just go around the room first. Frank Grantham here.
Mike Jackson.
Ryan Ozawa.
From Cedar.
Online.
Brody.
Brody Koval here.
And Charles Edmondson.
Absent thus far. Yep.
Okay. We have two changes to the agenda tonight. We have Kelly Adams here, who is going to give us a Gary Oak update. And then if there's anything that, Jim, if you want to mention about the survey,
I would.
we will
If we
do
have
that
time.
at the end. If we have time, sure. Okay.
We can talk about it next meeting if we need to.
All right. So approval meeting minutes. We have meeting minutes from the November meeting. Is that correct? Yeah, November 10th, 2025. Anyone want to make a motion to approve those meeting
So
minutes?
moved.
Do we second? Yep. Johnny seconds. Okay. Jim has made a motion to approve the meeting minutes, seconded by Tanya. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from November 10th, 2025, say aye.
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 Not opposed. Okay. Meeting minutes have been approved.
May I ask that the Gary Oak item be inserted now before the tree board member reports?
Yes, I have that there. So, yep. So we have Kelly Adams with a Gary Oak update.
Yes,
Sorry,
hi.
Hi.
My name's Kelly Adams. I'm the Assistant City Administrator, and I have had the pleasure of serving on the team of being the project manager for the basically operationalizing option B from Todd Prager and Associates. So a little bit of background. So I started with the city in February, and I began this project, I believe it was about May, Alyssa, correct me if I'm wrong. But it was
Sounds about
about
right.
May. We received a council resolution to commit to option B and to move forward on maintaining the risk. Also, well, excuse me, it's been a very long day. Maintaining safety, but also maintaining the health of the tree. And so what we ended up doing was working with Todd Prager and Associates to achieve an actual work plan. And what we've come away with is a 3-year work plan to treat different aspects of the health of the tree. And so this Thursday at 6:30 p.m., we will be speaking with the Historical Commission so that we can start the process of receiving their review and approval for our work. And so this was a bit of an impromptu visit to you, but I wanted to make sure that you knew exactly what we were doing, when we were doing it, and we wanted to invite you to that Historical Commission meeting, if not just to view it. We want to make sure that we are being transparent, and in that effort, we recently updated the web page for the tree. So we have the historical register page, which we've always had, but we have also updated, and Alyssa is sharing that now. It's under the Our History tab. So we have a very fact-based, sharing a little bit of information about the tree, but also telling you exactly what we're doing right now. So all of the documents that you see are the documents that we're working with. And so you can view the tree assessment from Todd Prager. That was the the level 3 tree risk assessment, and then the resolution that City Council committed to for option B, and then the actual treatment plan that we have received late in 2025, and then also the the DAHP permit for the first year of work. Now, what is left to do here is to work with the Historical Commission to make sure that we are following a process that fully informs them and gives them the information that they need and gives us process guidance on how they would like that information. And I will leave the floor open for Alyssa and Brian if you want to add anything to this, but I really just wanted to make sure that I personally invited you to come and watch that Historical Commission meeting or attend. It'll be in that room, and I will be there in person. And I look forward to attending future tree board meetings to answer any questions.
What time? Thursday?
6:30. It's also a hybrid meeting. It's in this location, but there is a Zoom link if you'd like to attend virtually on the city's meeting website.
Are you going to say anything?
No, Kelly, you did a wonderful job. Unless you have questions on the work plan or anything I can answer, but Kelly did a wonderful job kind of explaining, where we're at right now in the process. So we're working very hard when we're trying to push this as quickly as we can to move forward.
I'm just curious if you, Kelly, you can explain a little bit more detail about what is the role of the Historic Commission?
So the role of the Historic Commission is to provide an approval to us. So there was a recent litigation that helped us to get to this process. The issue before is that a building permit would be the natural trigger within our code to trigger that process, to nominate that to the Historical Commission for their review. And so bureaucratically, there wasn't that trigger for the tree. And so that's why we need to make sure that we walk through this first by introduction, and then in February, we can actually do the official application with that body.
And this presentation isn't really new information for the Historic Commission, is it? They already have reviewed the information you're going to present?
No, I don't believe so. This will be the first time that they're seeing it. And so that's why we really wanted to get it on the website so everyone can see it. And what's been fantastic is Alyssa, Brian, myself, and some others have been working on this project actually since last May. And so this isn't really outside of what we were going to do already. So we're pretty pleased that we get to go to the Historic Commission this Thursday.
And is there any concern that the Historic Commission might object to the plan?
I don't believe so, but I don't want to speak for them. It's a pretty conservative treatment plan. The first year is about mulching and ground treatment. It's a very slow plan that considers a wait and see approach to any changes that are made. Even pruning is very conservative and not proposed until year 2. So we're very happy with the plan and what Todd Prager put forward.
Thank you. Have we seen the plan?
But it's on the website as of today.
Okay, so we can access it there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you have any questions, I'm here to answer that for the work plan and whatnot. So, yeah.
Was the historic preservation ever approved, like a living or?
They approved the tree to be on the register, and I believe no other biologic creature or thing. It's mostly traditionally been structures. This is the odd one.
Yeah, I mean, it's an exceptional tree with an exceptional history, so why not?
There was an original nomination form I got to look at that was from 1996.
You got it. Great.
Yeah. So very exciting.
I have a quick process question. Will public comment be received at Thursday's meeting on this topic?
I don't know for the Historic Commission. I can check and I can get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
I can probably find that answer very quickly.
Yes,
now, if
thank
you-
you, Alyssa. I'm working on one screen.
Yep. Go to our meetings and open up the agenda and see if public comment is on there. Yes, item 6 on the historic preservation meeting on Thursday has public comment,
Wonderful.
which I'm not sharing. I'll share.
It is typical too that we open public comment for all of our meetings, or open public meetings. So it would be within the norm.
Yeah, the only time that public comment is not part of a general meeting agenda is if it's a work session and there is no intended decision to be made. Thus, there's not necessarily a cause for public comment about the items on the agenda.
And just to clarify, city council work session.
Yes, city council work.
All work sessions for other boards and commissions as well.
And we're just excited as a team to move forward and actually start getting this work looked at and approved. We've been working on this for quite a few months, so we're very pleased that we get to present this to several boards now. So
Anyone else have any questions or comments for Kelly regarding this item?
Oh.
I know Kelly has dinner duty for her children, so
yes.
you are welcome to be released now. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. It was
I
so
appreciate
great
it.
to meet you all.
Thanks for the update.
Like we might have someone outside for public comment, so good thing we're not there yet.
Okay. So,
Tree board member?
tree board member reports, we're gonna hold that off until the end. Jim has some items to discuss. Manager's report?
Yes, I have some things. So you all had asked me in the past to report always on hiring the urban forester. That's done. The climate element, that's adopted. The saplings, they are distributed. The saplings of the Meeker Oak have been distributed. So a lot of those things are done. So I consider that your final update on those particular things for now. The entire comprehensive plan was adopted, and that's now on the city's website. So if you haven't had a chance to read the good 1,000+ pages of hard blood, sweat, and tears of staff and the public, please feel free to look at the comprehensive plan online.
And thank you again for your comments on the conservation check.
The work plan that came to you all in the last meeting for the Sustainability Division was approved by City Council, so we are proceeding with the work as planned. And I have a date for Arbor Day for you all. This year, it will be the joint event with Earth Day yet again on April 18th. And Brian made a wonderful connection and got the Department of Natural Resources, Community and Urban Forestry Department very excited, and they would like to come table with us at the event. So we will have some Department of Natural Resources, Urban and Community Forestry staff. I believe it'll be Celesta or Zema.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. They're very excited to join in on our event.
And we are working with park staff to get a commemorative tree planting organized.
Same place?
Likely different place, and we'll be figuring out the tree species. But there will be a tree planting, unlike 2 years ago where it was missed.
Wait, so we're not gonna have it down at the park?
It'll be at the park.
Oh, it is.
Not the same exact location as where we planted the trees last year,
Oh,
but historical park. Thank you. Sorry. I get confusing sometimes. And because you mentioned that book, I wanted to make sure that you were aware and the tree board was aware that our Stream Team program, which is a regional effort to reduce stormwater pollution, they are leading a behavior change campaign this year focused on habitat at home, natural yard care. I believe that there's a workshop coming up in a month or so in Lacey. Each jurisdiction is holding one. I believe we've already done the one in Tumwater. But keep an eye out for Stream Team's Habitat at Home program, which is related to the Fish and Wildlife Habitat at Home program. And those are all of my updates, unless Brian has anything additional to share.
No, thank you very much.
Alyssa, do you have a list of your books, reference books that
Not a list. I could take a picture of the bookshelf real easy, though.
we might just be aware that you have in case we wanted to
Tomorrow.
send something?
Yep.
That'd be great.
I'll add
If you
that.
take a picture, I would list them.
Throw my books back from my desk.
Yeah, he's got a stack on his desk.
Just take a picture of the desk.
No, you don't.
He has a very small desk for a very not me-sized person. I feel bad for his space. Right, I do know that we have 4 members of the public as attendees. I've checked their registration. They have no public comment, but we do have a member of the public who walked in, if we want to open public comment.
Well, sure, I was planning to do this. Some things have occurred to me as I ride my bike around Tumwater. One is I'm curious, I guess this is a question, but you don't have to answer.
Well, hold on, yeah, just state your name and your address.
Sorry, Mary Turcott, 6131 Glenwood Drive, Southwest, in Tumwater. I'm curious as to whether the city ever has like, ooh, notices that this is an institutional tree. This fir tree is quite old, quite lovely on public land or private, and does anything to preserve that.
We have a heritage tree program, and anybody can nominate a
Right,
heritage.
but I'm wondering if people don't do so, does the city, like, there's on the property, the transportation property that could be a Parks and Rec building, there is a massive old hazelnut tree, like, right by the bus stop. It's huge, it's gorgeous. Like, would that just be raised because we're building that, or would it be protected? Even though it's a hazelnut tree, but, one thing. The other thing is, I tend to watch meetings online, and this one you could come to, but you couldn't. I don't know that it's going to be on YouTube. Like, some things just aren't on YouTube that are, I would love for
Right,
that to
these ones
happen.
aren't. Mhm.
For all meetings were on YouTube, for people who aren't there at the moment. Let's see, there was one more. Oh, the other thing was, I watched too late, the Public Works, when they looked at the comprehensive plan, at the meeting where they looked at that, Fish and Wildlife had suggested that Tumwater prioritize corridors for habitat, et cetera. And they said, oh, no, we're not gonna be doing that. It was just like, boom, not doing it. And then it went to the city council. I couldn't go to the city council because you can't talk about in public comment something that's on the agenda to be approved. So it's like, I missed the vote. I did not know that that was going to happen at that meeting. There would be a time frame that's really short between the two. That's all.
Chair, may I answer some of those questions?
Yeah, feel free.
Thank you, Marie. Marie, right?
Mary.
Mary, okay, Mary. So the city doesn't put the tree board meetings on YouTube, but the videos are posted on the city's meeting page. It normally takes a day or two after.
Okay.
So you can get the videos. I can ask if we can put them all on YouTube. I will ask that, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that there was a way to watch the videos of tree board meetings after they've occurred. What the city does to protect trees, I'm going to have Brian mostly answer, but I do want to note that any resident tree board member or staff, city staff, has the power to nominate trees as heritage trees, which does get them additional protections. You do need to get the permission from the landowner, but you have the power as a Tumwater resident, wherever you see those trees, to do that. I have nominated a handful of trees on city property, and tree board members have as well. So we like to share the wealth of who gets to have the bragging rights of protecting that particular tree. But we do make a strong effort to protect large significant trees. And Brian, if you want to talk about your role in reviewing site plans.
Absolutely.
PRC?
Yeah, so, anytime somebody removes a tree in Tumwater, even if you're a private homeowner, you have to submit a tree removal waiver or some kind of permit for it. So, I have the opportunity to review all those, and I often reach out to homeowners just to ask them questions, figure out why they want to remove their trees, or, you know, if we can explore other options, because any old tree in Tumwater, we try our best to save. Also on the development review committee, so anytime any development is happening, whether it's you're adding onto your garage or you're a developer building a new neighborhood, I'm on the panel to review that and make comment, and any project that's going to have a forester's report, and they have to list all the trees, and they have to know the impacts, they have to know what we're going to lose, and they have to save so much or replant 3 times as much, and there's just a lot of things we do, and my job in particular, what I try to focus on is saving as much as we can. So our current code stipulates that you have to save 12 trees per acre or 20%, whichever is greater. So we are in the process of updating our code a little bit, so these numbers are going to change slightly, but at the same time, we are doing all we can to save, especially old trees. Our forest in Tumwater is pretty young, and so any of our older trees, I go out of my way to make sure that contractors or developers are aware they have these trees, and we can take extra measures to protect them. They're so valuable to us.
Indeed, differentiate between like a Doug fir and an alder that's 70 years old, and it's probably going to come down.
Yeah. I mean, if a tree's near the end of its life, you know, there's not a whole lot we can do other than, you know, if it doesn't have a target and it's not in the way, like, why not leave it to be a wildlife snack? You know, we try to save as much as I can, you know, and I work a lot with developers. I meet with them and go over their site plans often to figure out how we can manipulate the building structures, lot sizes, whatever we can, you know, adjust buildings this way so we can widen this tree tract over here a little bit more. I mean, we go into a lot of detail.
I'm glad to hear that, because it seems like when I see new developments, it's raised.
I would say a lot of those may have been approved before Brian was on board and before we had an urban forester on staff. Maybe those projects might have been, he's paying a lot of attention to them and has devoted a large portion of his time to reviewing those site plans and making sure that even if some trees are being removed, that those that are still there have critical root zone protections and that they're not being damaged by the construction. And I remembered that you said something about corridors also. So I'm not sure what element that was. Dana can speak to it, but we do have things in the climate element about wildlife corridors in the urban forestry management plan and in the climate element. So while they might not be in that element, they are present in other comprehensive plan elements. It's just a 1,000-page document, so we didn't bring all 1,000 pages in one meeting. Dana,
Oh, Margot has something to say.
Sorry, yeah. I'm just really excited you asked about watching the meetings on YouTube. They are all uploaded on our City of Tumwater YouTube channel. The communication department handles that for all of our boards and commissions.
oh, Tumwater.
Usually within 24 hours after the meeting.
That's like the Parks and Rec one wasn't. There was supposed to be a meeting in the fall, and I couldn't find anything. But
Did
yeah.
Really, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, awesome.
Thanks for your question about corridors, Mary. I think when we're doing the comprehensive plan, something that really, we do listen to the neighboring agencies and we hear what their recommendations are. And at the end of the day, staff work with the city council to make a recommendation that works for Tumwater. And in some cases, there are things that just don't fit that bill. And corridors aren't necessarily one of them. Like Ellis has said, we fit corridors in other ways in other projects. So it's not that wholesale, we're not focusing on corridors particularly, but it's that they were addressed in a different chapter. So in that chapter, they're not necessarily part of that piece. So another consideration is that, no, I think that covers it. Yeah, but thank you for your question.
Alyssa, can I follow up? Mary? I'm Jim, I'm a board member. Two things I wanted to follow up with. One is, my understanding is that our historic trees, and correct me if I got this wrong, are all on public right-of-way?
That is incorrect, yeah.
So if somebody has a massive tree in their private yard, the city has no opportunity to regulate whether they take that tree down or not, other than they can't take down more than...
If it's a heritage tree, if it's nominated and approved as a heritage tree
private property.
on private property,
Okay.
there are protections. The city puts up a larger fight than we would if it wasn't.
So we've had a
And
couple
there's
issues.
neighborhoods, that is one, by the way.
I know that, yeah.
Okay.
You may remember, if you're familiar with Fred Meyer and Panda Express. Between those two buildings, there are some huge, beautiful maple trees on Trosper Road. And we've tried to make those heritage trees, but they're the property of Panda Express. And they said, no, we won't let you make our trees heritage trees. So the city has no power to do that, as I understand it.
You can't take over someone's property rights. If the landowner agrees to have them nominated as a heritage tree, then the heritage tree part of code then gets kicked in, and we do, like, if they had, say I had a large oak in my property, which I certainly could not have, it's too small, and it got nominated as a heritage tree. Okay, I sell the house, the next person gets it, they say, I want to remove that tree. They're going to put in a tree removal waiver to remove the tree, and we're going to be, ooh, nope, that's a heritage tree. We now can use urban forester time or a contracted forester time to do a health assessment on that tree, try to provide alternatives on the city's dime for that person to retain the tree. If once they get that, they still decide, nope, I would like to remove the tree, then there's an administrative process to remove the tree from the heritage tree list, and then they can go about their business. But it's more hurdles, and we provide some assistance to try to get someone to make a different decision about that tree if they or the next property owner changes their mind in the future.
The second point that you mentioned that I resonate with is marking the trees so that people know what this tree is and that it's a special tree. And my understanding is we haven't been very successful at that. We have a few trees at the library and a few on the campus here that have plaques in front of them that say this was planted on Arbor Day, or there's some special, this is what the type of tree is. But where we have about 10 or 12 heritage trees, maybe it's more than that. I don't think we have physical signs on those trees.
Correct, because our operations staff who would be maintaining those signs and cleaning up the graffiti doesn't want us to do that. So we.
Should there be a map, like there's maps of little libraries?
There is already a map of heritage trees.
It's in the.
It is, yep.
And we're working on making that more accessible.
Okay.
But it is a challenge, and I know it's a challenge. Signs are a challenge. You know, people put them up and other people take them down and mess them up and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm an advocate for having signs. I'd like to see more of that. But it's a lot of work for our city to maintain them if and when we do put them up. So if someday there becomes a way to do that with cameras and stuff to monitor that, you know, whoever's messing with it, then hopefully we'll be able to do that. But right now, our attempt is to, on the website here, have a map that has a photograph of each of the trees, and then a map that shows the location of the tree.
You can click on
We took some updates.
the tree and get a lot of, like this one's the Hairy Oak. We welcome the tree board or the general public to take better pictures of the trees.
Volunteer.
These ones were taken by Jim, but all of our trees are from, all of our pictures of the heritage trees are from when they're not in leaf. So, for instance, here we go. This is the map online, Mary. Almost in leaf.
You know, an update, the National Chestnut Foundation, I can't remember the exact acronym for it. Anyways, I reached out to them about our historic chestnut trees, and they would like seeds. Because our chestnuts are extraordinary. So just, yeah.
So who's going to collect those?
Fine.
So.
There is a person at Mills and Mills that's very interested, an employee that's been there a long time. And he may have collected seeds in the past, so
Next
you
year.
might just check in with them.
Yeah, well, I plan on it, but yeah, next year, I mean, we're a year out, but next year I plan on collecting seeds and sending them off. I reached out to them, I've exchanged a few emails, and they would absolutely like some of our seeds to see if they have some sort of genetic diversity.
Yeah, great. You know, Oak Harbor has got seed collection program in the
Yeah.
city. Great. Anything else, Mary? Thank you.
Right. Urban forestry code updates.
Yay! I am echoing my dear friend Kelly, who said, we are so excited to bring you some good news. This is happening. We're bringing it to you. This is it's something that we've been working on for a while. So thank you, Chair Grantham, and good evening, board members. I appreciate being here tonight. And I'm excited to bring you an update. So just want to walk you through what we're looking at for the next year. And the goal is definitely ambitious. We want to get the code adopted by November. And this complicated code, it's going to definitely take every minute we have. So just to give you a recap, you guys are way more familiar with this than I am. I've only jumped on staff the last year, and this is something you guys have been working on since well before that, even before the urban forestry management plan was adopted. So bear with me and please correct me. That's what I'm definitely here to ask you for. So as you know, the City Council adopted the urban forestry management plan after extensive work with the community to make sure that's what the community wanted in 2021. And then money was found at the Department of Natural Resources, Urban and Community Forest, Urban and Community Forest Grant from the Department of Natural Resources. And so Tumwater was awarded grant funds to utilize an arborist because we hadn't had this fine young fellow yet. And so they partnered with us, and we worked extensively on the tree codes from 2022. Some of the first steps were robust public engagement, and that included some really focused community conversations. And what we got out of those community conversations, I also want to overview with you, but that'll be in the next slide. But I just want to let you know what we heard so that you can say, yeah, that's what we said. And if you don't hear what you heard, if you don't hear me say what you wanted to say, then let me know. And then we also, in May, as we were working on the codes and actually going through draft copies internally, then the Wildland Urban Interface was proposed at the state legislation and moved into the State Building Code Council for review, and then was passed, if I understand the process correctly, had been passed and then was repealed. So through that whole process, and then after it was repealed, we waited to see, and again, you guys know this much better than I do, but tracking if I got it right. As they were reviewing the Wildland Urban Code Interface, we decided to pause the project. So at that point, we'd already had drafts, we'd already been reviewing them as staff, but because of what we saw in the Wildland Urban Code Interface and how it may change that code dramatically, we needed to see how that was going to play out. And we took an active role with the Association of Washington Cities and provided them all kinds of information about why this would not work for Tumwater, and advocated, and here we are still waiting. And we're still waiting, and the best update they can give us is toward the end of 2025. Passed, still no update. So, and literally that's what it says on their website right now. So here we are waiting, and we and the community, we're not waiting anymore. We need to start and do this project, and then if the code says something that contradicts, we will do an update. We need to move it forward and get something on the ground. It's critically important to our community. So with that in mind, November 2025, staff had capacity, and we started to look back and look at the progress and look at the deliverables and figure out where we were. So what we found out is that we have 3 codes and a plan all coming together. And we reviewed the public comment summary. And so these are some of the things we heard. So this is going to be a little verbal, but under tree selection, growth, and maintenance, we heard that we want to protect large diameter trees. We heard that we want to consider habitat value, that we want to provide training and care for maintenance, hence Brian. We want to clarify ownership responsibilities. We want to restrict maples and sweet gums. So these are some of the specific things that we heard. Peripheral impacts for me, like this is what I lumped into peripheral impacts: stormwater management, water conservation benefits, climate mitigation, and interactions with utilities, especially the cables going above the ground, that we have a goal to underground. And how does that impact trees if we're trying to dig in and underground utilities over the next 20 years? So we want the code to be flexible yet clear, that it should be simplifying permit processes, not overcomplicating them, to use a point-based system to provide incentives for keeping larger trees, and then to have stronger tree retention and replacement requirements. That the community wants a balance between vegetation and other land uses, so that we need to consider affordable housing and how that's impacted by codes, because affordable housing means we need to densify and provide infill. So that we need to consider clearance for garbage and other transportation in some of our corridors. Garbage hauling, not the garbage itself, the vehicles that do so. Incentives for homeowners, and provide incentives for homeowners to keep trees, because trees and homes can be a compatible land use. Okay? That when we think about allocation of resources, that the tree fund has some resources, and how that's going to be spent and prioritized should be a topic of consideration. And then as funds are then put into the tree fund, how will further funds be used? And then the cost of city resources for doing maintenance, potentially doing updates to tree codes, all the things on the ground, and also the administrative pieces. And then for code compliance, one of the things you heard is that they want community wanted strong but fair penalties for violators. So does that feel like it covers you're asking me to recap conversations we had 3 years ago? I know. So if there's a flavor in there that does not resonate with what was discussed, please let me know. Yes, Jim?
The only thing I would say is we've talked about the term tree.
Yes.
And tree is a historical term used for this committee. And we've talked about that we want to be larger than that.
Limiting.
Yeah, plants, especially indigenous plants.
So in that vein, moving forward, the project is actually going to be called the Urban Forestry Code Updates, because it's going to contain not just street trees, but also our tree and vegetation preservation standards and the landscaping standards, and all of which contain more than just trees, but yes. Trees. Thank you for saying so. Anything else? You have a minute? Okay. So as I was saying before I started this, we had 3 projects and a plan that are now rolling into one project. So that all at once kind of complicates things a little, but also gives us an opportunity to see how lock and key these codes work together and make sure they don't stumble on top of one another. So this is the right time to do that, and we want to make sure that we can lift all these up at the same time and get them moving forward. So we are in a very good position to have a contractor, contracted, to have the contract signed by March. We have an RFP out that's visible to the community right now. We are accepting proposals. So if you know people, please let them know that we want to see their proposals to continue this work. We will have the stages of review. We're going to do internal review first, because we want to make sure that the code that you see is actionable, that it is something that we can move forward and implement. We don't want to throw you a promise that we can't deliver. So we have to go through some really robust review. One of the first things that you'll see in a joint session with the Planning Commission is going to be a crosswalk table. So it's going to really give you a bird's eye view of how all these codes also line up with the comprehensive plan, the climate element, the conservation element, the transportation element, any elements that might trickle in and feed this and interact with it, we're gonna lay all those out. It's gonna be a massive table or multiple tables, probably multiple tables now that I think about it. So we wanna make sure that all of those pieces are working together well, okay? And you're gonna have review of that document.
Is there a possibility that we can see the document before the night we meet with the planning commission?
Yes, absolutely. For typically, we like to get materials out the Wednesday before. I understand you guys meet on Monday, and so Wednesday before gives you less than a week. So we will do our best to hold to that as staff. And sometimes, I think sometimes it trickles over to Thursday. I will do my very best as staff to make sure I have my documents in so you can get them.
And how long is the document?
So the document itself, it hasn't been created yet. So this is part of the work with the consultant. It'll be beefy. The definitely, we're looking at a few pages, a few hundred pages probably. We're also considering the fact that you will have a staff person to walk you through things. You'll have summary versions in your staff reports, and you'll have summary versions in presentations.
Before this meeting?
Yes.
Before we meet with the planning commission?
Yes. Yeah. So we don't anticipate you meeting with the planning commission until closer to April, and that's the April through September timeline on the scan. So also within that review timeline, we're planning to do a tour. So you will get a tour with the planning commission and the city council. And one of the goals of the tour is to look at how does this work and really do those test cases and also see, some of the amazing trees. We're already working with Brian to see a couple of locations that would work for the tour. We've mentioned it and we're brainstorming together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will be in June, so we'll have some daylight, not this. And so we're excited about that. And then we'll have a review session with the planning commission again to look at the draft code itself. So the draft code itself won't be as long. I mean, the problem is that it's going to contain multiple sections, so that's why it's going to be long. And I honestly, 200 and 300 pages, I'm thinking about county code. The county code was very long. Our code is drastically shorter.
The last time that I looked at the tree and vegetation protection ordinance draft,
Yes,
that code was about 50 pages.
There we
The
go.
other ones are shorter,
Thank you.
like maybe 10 pages.
Okay.
But, so it should be,
That's a much better estimate. I'm just used to working in the comp plan that's 1,000 pages.
1,000 pages.
So I don't want to overpromise, underdeliver. If I say 200 pages and you get 100, woohoo, we're flying. So,
Are these meetings, the March and the April, September meetings, open to the public?
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
And the tour?
they're joint meetings, absolutely. Yeah, that's all open to the public. So once we get to April and we have 3 deliverables for the consultant that we're looking for. We're looking for a substantive copy. So pulling together all of these internal edits and making something that is legible and works. Then we're looking for the peer review copy, and then we're looking for the adopted copy. So there will be 3 drafts, and I should stop there because it's all listed very clearly in the RFP if you'd like to see it. Request for proposal, thank you.
One of the things in reviewing past ordinances and stuff is the, what do we call it? The readability of the material, that sometimes there's a 30, 40-word sentence, to kind of start off. And I hope that when we get to look at these things, they've been edited so that they're comprehensible by somebody that isn't a planner or a city employee.
It is, I will say to you, my background isn't legal, my background isn't planning, my background is communication. I believe I was hired, and I think I've said this before and I'll say it again, I believe I was hired by the city so that we could start to revise documents and make them more readable of this nature. I run into walls because I want to make them very readable at the 5th grade level, which is the state standard for plain talk. And we still need to make our documents legally defensible. So there is a very much a push and pull there. So we will get them as very readable as we can while keeping them clear and simple and legally defensible. All right, I think I have one more slide. Oh, but it's preempted. Questions? Yay.
So are you combining the urban, or the tree protection plan with the landscape plan?
Not that we're combining the codes within the city code, we're just doing the code section in the same project. Make sense?
Yes.
We're
Yes.
doing everything simultaneously.
Yes, simultaneous but separate.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. It's good to know that that was not necessarily communicated well, and I will make sure I communicate that.
Yeah, it sounded like you were bunching them all together. I was just curious if they were gonna be.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay. Further
And
questions?
when is the RFP due?
The RFP is due the 21st of January, I believe it's the 21st.
On the city's website under the
That is
business RFP openings. I believe it's 21st.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, it was a 1-day difference between getting it in for the next signature and getting it in for 2 signatures after that. So my brain is still like, oh, which one?
21st at 5 p.m.
Thank you, I appreciate that. That's very helpful. Right now.
Brody, hopefully you still have the ability to talk if you have any questions. Oh, seems like you might have lost it. So making sure you have that ability, Brody.
Yep, still here. It all sounds good, no questions.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for holding with me on that, holding with us on this pause. I know it's been a wait, and that you've all been anticipating getting this work started again, and I appreciate your patience. Yes.
Melissa, before Dana leaves, is it appropriate to talk about the survey as it relates to the drafts?
Can?
Last month, I received, I think we all received, this City of Tumwater. It had a few points that I thought related to urban forestry issues. For example, priorities. The survey was 2 groups of people.
Mhm.
One of you kind of, they self-selected.
One was a statistically valid sample,
Yeah.
in which we attained the actual demographic split of the community. Another was self-selected, whoever decided that they wanted to take the survey, which generally trends towards Caucasian older women. So we did a statistical survey to make sure that we had an actual representation of all that Tumwater is.
Now, I'm not sure, I don't remember that the tree board had a presentation on the results of this survey.
No.
Okay, but the city council did.
Yes.
And the planning commission?
No.
Okay, so did this have any impact on the work that you're doing in developing the plan?
In some cases, so that community survey is one of many tools that we could use to inform the council about what we have heard from the community. So that is that level of tool. It wouldn't necessarily say, we must do this because this says that. There really is no one tool that does that except for potentially the comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plan is that tool for our community, but it is written at that level so that it would be something that the council would consider and could determine whether or not that action meets that comprehensive plan goal.
The survey does not drive our work. It informs our approach and helps us do better as we do our work as directed by the Comprehensive Planning Council.
And has this survey ever been done before?
On approximately every 3 years,
Okay,
generally.
okay. So, and was the previous survey compared to this survey?
Don't believe so because it wasn't as statistically valid, is my understanding.
I believe
They
this is
improved
one
it
of the
this year.
first times we've done a statistically valid survey.
So this survey, I noticed, you know, because I'm looking from a tree board thing, that there was concern about growth, particularly growth as it affected transportation, and transportation as it affected open space and trees and that sort of thing. So I don't know if this meant that the citizens of Tumwater are not happy with the way that the city is developing roads in order to preserve habitat and maintain existing trees.
And this is one of the reasons that a survey tool isn't necessarily something we can say, this is policy and we're going to act on it, because there's so much, no matter how you word a question, there's so much interpretation on the other end that you will never get back. You will never be able to understand fully what that person meant when they circled that answer or where they clicked that button. Not fully, because language is like that. So while we can devise certain trends, you know, we would lean toward maybe trends in that. We would use that to say the community is favoring this. That's probably the strongest language we could use for something like that.
So in your report, is there any reference to this survey?
In this report?
In the report you're developing for us to review in 2 months?
No. Not specifically.
Okay, thank you.
Besides the fact that this work was developed from 2021 from the Urban Forestry Management Plan with those goals and those ideas, and maybe even a different set of community members at that point. It's up to the council today to determine if those goals still match our community and they're still moving forward with this work. And they have told us strongly in 2025 that they are prioritizing the tree code update. That's why it was put back onto, I think Brad came early 2025 and said, you know, the tree code is being prioritized. We did have a comprehensive plan update to complete. That's why staff was not able to get to it until November. And then as soon as we had availability, this is the first project that we took on.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Any other questions for Dana related to the urban forestry code updates? Not yet.
Yeah.
Lively bunch when.
Yes, I'm excited. And you'll have a lively counterpart in the planning commission. I'm excited about you being able to work with them together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
Oh, thank you. Yes, of course.
I might suggest, though, in addition to doing like a review of something out in the real world, take like some sort of a plan and actually apply it before it's passed. Because it's amazing the holes you find when you're developing a property in the code.
I'm sure you might even have a good example for us to look at. Trent's background is landscape architecture.
Fantastic. So I apologize that that didn't ring clearer in my message, but that is one of the big parts of internal review, is we're building test cases and using like kind of more typical. We want to run typical scenarios. We don't want to run scenarios that are like far-fetched, right? So we're running typical scenarios to test whether or not the code works on the ground. Visiting the sites, I'm not quite sure yet. It might depend on the timeline. I'm not sure if visiting the sites is going to come before or after that. It kind of depends on how we stack things up and how far along we get.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah, hopefully we'll be able to talk about that review at that meeting.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. Your meeting.
Okay, so the next agenda meeting is the discussion of meeting frequency. Are you wanting us to increase through this process, or
Not necessarily. So, back, I think it was in June, Board Member Koval had a suggestion that perhaps we move to an every other month meeting cadence, with the caveat that we revisit it in January. So here we are in January. I have the draft, schedule here as if we were continuing on this every other month cadence. But, as Dana was just stating, there would be an additional meeting anticipated in June. Actually, that month, in the way that I've been looking at our work plan for the tree codes, it might actually be 2 meetings in June, that the tree board would be expected to come to. So, if you want to, if someone may want to make a motion to approve the every other month meeting cadence, unless otherwise needed for tree code related meetings, that would be great. If you all want to go back to every month, that is also within your capability, and I simply need someone to, we need to pass a motion one way or another, and I will adjust based on your decision.
I believe Dana's presentation talked about us meeting with the Planning Commission in April, or April to September.
April to September
What
is
does
the
that mean?
window. So the request for proposal is out now. It takes a while to get a contract signed, then to get a project kicked off. Our anticipated best case scenario is that maybe in late April, we have something for you. It may be in
September.
May. We will have stuff for you June, July, August, September. At least it might not be every month, which is why I suggested the motion of the every other month cadence, unless required or needed to meet the schedule for the tree code related meetings. And we won't know exactly when those are until the work continues to pan out, and if timelines go as we anticipate, that would be great. Government moves slow. Hopefully it moves as fast as we want it to, but it's not naturally inclined to do so.
So those meetings aren't on the draft calendar?
No.
But you anticipate that we will have a joint meeting with the Planning Commission, either in April or May?
Yes. And I'm hoping that it's at the May timeline because we have Arbor Day. And likely that it'll be May, but it's too soon for me to give you exact dates on those. For those meetings with the Planning Commission related to code, I believe that I would hopefully be able to give you a month's notice, at least 2 weeks notice, and that hopefully we would be able to meet a quorum. So in the back of your head, keep that. We might have more meetings. You definitely will have more meetings in June, so please account for that.
June.
In June.
That's not
What
on.
the dates, I don't know. And that's, again, best case scenario. I wish I had a solid answer for you because we haven't gotten the proposals from the consultants. It sometimes can take up to a month and a half to 3 months to get a contract signed. There's a lot of things up in the air. So barring meetings that I will give you notice of, if the regular cadence of every month or every other month, that's what I'm looking for here with the decision.
And the June meeting is a joint meeting with the Planning Commission?
Yes.
So
If it happens in June.
whenever it happens, you anticipate that we'll have more than one meeting, joint meeting with the Planning Commission?
I imagine that May, June, July, and September, you will have joint meetings.
Is that?
I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead, Brody.
Oh, sorry, Jim, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, continue.
No, good.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to make a motion that we continue the every other month meeting cadence unless otherwise necessary for the code revision project.
There's a second.
Second.
Does it, before we vote on that, I was just wondering if we still did a meeting or at least had a meeting on the calendar every month, and then we cancel it if not needed, does that require any sort of motion as well, or?
If you want to make that alternative motion, you can. I will note that every time we cancel a meeting, I have to do public notices. So it's a lot easier for me to add a meeting than it is to cancel a meeting.
Okay, that's kind of what I wanted to know. But isn't in our, like under the tree board, whatever, it's every other month, isn't it?
Bylaws.
Yeah, in our bylaws, it's every
I'm
other.
unaware of you all having bylaws.
Oh, we had something. It seemed like, I mean, for some reason, we were doing it like every, oh. Oh.
So this every other month is just for the tree board?
Yes.
And if we need to meet with somebody else like the planning commission, then that's not part of the every other month.
If it lines up correctly, yeah.
It could replace what we
You
have.
could replace your meeting for that month. So the planning commission meets twice a month. One of their meetings is the day after our normally scheduled meeting. So I anticipate, unless we can get the planning commission to join us on Monday, that it would be a day after it's scheduled here, if it is indeed a joint meeting.
And in a joint meeting, we wouldn't discuss any tree board only topics. Is that correct?
We could. It's not a hard and fast rule. We could adjourn the joint meeting, and then tree board, we could move into the EOC room over here and have a separate meeting to go over any tree board specific business if needed.
And then the planning commission would stay here and continue their business.
Yes, and that is a usual thing that they do occasionally with the city council when they have a joint meeting.
And you don't have to be in both places.
I would follow the tree board because I'm the staff liaison for the tree board. We do have a motion and a second on the table. Did you have something to say?
Okay, so we have a motion to do every other month meetings, with the exception of any additional meetings we may need for the urban forestry plan or code implementation plans. All those in favor, and it's seconded by Kenya? Okay. All those in favor of approving that meeting schedule, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes, 1 nay. Motion carries. Did you want to go every month?
No, I was thinking of is that we know February, we don't have to have a meeting, because there's just not gonna be anything. Once we get into March and April, we're right into Arbor Day. And right after that, they should start having some stuff on code.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna go every other month when we're dealing on the code.
Well, it sounds like we probably wouldn't,
It's likely that you'll be meeting more often when the code is ready for you. And
Just like Jim said, I mean, in June, what is it, June? Yeah, that we might meet with the
planning commission.
the planning commission. That meeting, there should be a lot of stuff available, and it's so important.
Right.
to
It
tie-
sounds like it's easier to add a meeting than it would be to cancel it, so that if we go to every other and just add one, then.
Yeah, that's
That
why I
makes
said nay. But
Yeah.
I mean, we've passed it, right?
Yeah.
you'll have more meetings than every other month. But the regular cadence for the tree board, at least for the foreseeable future, barring those additional meetings for the code, will be every other month, the way that just passed. I know it's confusing because we don't have all the future dates lined up yet.
Well, we know that in April, is Arbor Day on the 18th, and normally, you know, that's the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Is that the meeting? I think that's separate from the board meeting. Alyssa, am I off on that?
In the past, we have gotten everything wrapped up for Arbor Day prior to the April. Last year, we did have one because we needed to approve something. It took a little longer. But I don't anticipate us needing to have a meeting in April to prepare for Arbor Day. I think we'll be in good shape. So the Arbor Day celebration, it's not an open public meeting, but it would be the time allocation equal to a meeting for tree board members should you volunteer.
On Saturday, too.
On a
Right,
Saturday.
and there can't be a quorum at that, and we cannot discuss tree board business at that. Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Well, April would be an off month anyway.
I will continue every meeting that we have to update the schedule with my best available information, which hopefully on the 21st of this month, we'll have a better schedule for when the consultant, should they be selected, has planned out for different things. We have our internal timelines of what we think. Consultants might have other timelines that they think are more reasonable. So as I keep getting more information, I will keep this updated and I will be sending it to you. But anticipate meetings in June.
Don't go on vacation in June, is that what you're saying?
You may be expected to come twice in June. We're hoping to do a joint meeting and a field trip in June. And the field trip would also be considered a joint meeting.
That's not just a field trip of the tree board, though.
No, it'll be Tree Board, Planning Commission, and City
Yeah.
Council, and then any members of the public who join us as well. And I apologize for this being kind of a muddled topic. If I had a crystal ball, I would tell you all the days right now.
Well,
But
if we're every other month, and we meet in March, and then April, what,
April technically, unless there's
something else?
a meeting with the planning, we wouldn't have a meeting.
Okay, we just have Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you say, it's easier to add one than,
It is. I have to do, we publish the tree board schedule in the Olympian and we pay money to put it in there. If I need to change the schedule, and that's many months out, then we need to pay money again and republish it in the Olympian, and I have to do public notices and do some paperwork for every canceled meeting. So adding a meeting is much easier than canceling a meeting. For me, bureaucratically, but I'm not the tree board. You all can decide otherwise. I am decent at paperwork. I can do it.
That's fine. We can always vote again next January if we want to change it. But we'll,
Or before then, we didn't have set a sunset.
That's true.
date for this.
yeah. Okay. All right. City Tree webpage resources.
Tanya has been asking this for some time, so this is some open space for the tree board to discuss existing resources on the City Tree webpage and any recommendations you might have for edits and additions. This isn't the only time that you guys will ever get this opportunity. This is just, I've heard the request enough times and felt bad that I hadn't put it on an agenda yet. So here's some tree board time to discuss things that you would like to potentially add on the website. I have on here what your duties are, includes providing a vigorous program to educate and outreach property owners and assist them in urban forestry matters. We have the website. I mentioned the .gov.edu.org rules in the cover memo, and we have a member of our communications team who actually, I send her website updates. She makes them. She's here. This is Martha from our communications team. So dream, suggest, discuss.
I think last time we just talked about it being clearer and more resources. Of course, updating the street tree list was huge. Lots of folks, I've heard a lot of great comments about that. I thought it'd be neat to do a seasons thing, maybe what to do with trees in all the different seasons, like a fall, winter, spring, summer. I thought I've talked to some, I don't know if they were actual arborists, but arborists in our neighborhood that don't know where to get local trees. We could list where to get local native trees and native shrubs. That would be very helpful. I've heard a lot of homeowners asking that. So I just think, being clear and concise and being able to find the information is really important. We're getting there. We're working on it.
If there are existing government documents, websites on maintaining your home landscape or selecting plants for your home landscape, that would be appropriate for for our community, for zone 8B. It would be great to have that on the site.
Do we have a section on the website as far as like urban forestry and like how to apply for permits, things like that? Is there maintenance information?
So right now, we have a couple different places where you can find trees, which is already a topic of conversation. This is my department's website or webpage, and under sustainability and urban forestry, then we have trees. Under trees, we have stuff about the urban forestry management plan, our code, some information about trees, the approved tree species, prohibited trees, all of these are expanding things. This brings you to your permits, tree care resources, which is mostly don't top trees, and the fact that we have a city tree account, and contact Brian. This is, then we have that page that I showed earlier with the heritage trees, but this is our tree page.
Are we moving toward expanding the term trees in terms of prohibited plants, recommended plants?
We have to have those lists in order to do that.
Yeah.
But right now, we just have the prohibited trees and the noxious weeds.
My understanding, I thought I read recently that Hydrahelix has been banned from sale in Western Washington. Is that true?
I think it's been banned. I think you can still buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check on that.
There, I mean, I think I've seen it before, and maybe it's gone now, but yeah, like there's other noxious weeds that are still sold.
And it may be appropriate even if it's, well, maybe we can find a government website that, or even Washington Noxious Weeds, that says, you know, these are plants that our government says you should not have in your yard. And make it easy for homeowners. And that, I guess that's one of the challenges I've faced with our website, is that I may not think urban forestry when I'm trying to figure out what kind of tree do I plant in my backyard. And do we have that flexibility to search using other terms, and they'll get them to that information?
What search terms do you want?
Plants, trees, shrubs.
I mean, would a
Uncovers.
homeowner actually like look up through the city for that information though? They might just Google like, what's the best shrub for my backyard?
Exactly, and that's not necessarily something that we police.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not in the right of way.
I will note that prior to putting this on the agenda, Brody did ask for us to run site statistics. And when Margot and I did this for January through November, on here, this is the tree board website and this is this tree site.
Yeah.
Apparently we had 50 visits in a year to the tree site. So 50 total people opened the page in a year. And the tree board, 13 people opened the page for a year. So people are likely going to other resources other than the city website based on the number of times that people are actually going on this website.
And is that good?
That's very low.
Yeah. I mean,
I've probably accessed the tree board website a few times, just looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm 20 of those clicks.
So are we, but I mean, my concern is that if people are going online and they're getting bad information.
We can't
control that.
But can we have a site where we have good information?
Yeah, we can work towards something like this.
Right.
I mean, one of the services that we provide too, that is on my work plan, is getting out in the community more and talking to people and just making myself available. So, you know, I'm going to be out in the HOAs a lot, and, you know, all my contact information's on there. And I do actually get quite a bit of phone calls and emails asking, like, hey, what do you think would be good for this spot, or what do you think about this tree? And I tried to respond within 24 hours as best I can. So, if not, just contacting to schedule a day and a time to go out to their home and visit the place. So.
And when you make those recommendations, are you confident that they'll be able to find the plants that you recommend?
I asked them to have some that they've researched ahead of time. So when I don't show up and they have no idea. It's like, well, please have an idea. And then by the time I show up, we can, if you have 5, we can select one that might be the most appropriate. So but it's up to the homeowners. So.
Great, thank you.
If you folks are like really excited to share more information, we have more than 15,000 followers on our social media channels, and we get a lot of engagement that way. And we can use that to drive people to your website. And we are this year amping back up our Water Resources Wednesdays social media feature, and just on January 7th, put a message from Brian about trees and landscaping when it's cold, and then there's another one also from Brian about pruning that's scheduled for next Wednesday. So I'll be collecting information for those Wednesday features, and we've got, 50 weeks in the year. So anything that you would like to share, I can post it on our social media and then also include it on the tree website, so that will drive people to start visiting the tree website, and then share that way. Helpful.
And should we send that to her through you or?
Send to us and we'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to you guys.
Yeah. There are co-staff liaisons for the tree board.
And then I'm assuming a year from now, you can repost Brian's thing on pruning in the winter.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to recreate the wheel every year.
I appreciate you, and if you all have pictures that you would like to share of your own trees or yours, I will flash them all over the website and other communications channels and be very happy. Thank you. Yeah, Alyssa can, thank you. I'm glad you asked about that.
I'll just bring that sound drive for you.
That works.
Yep. Box.
I have a question for you, Brian. Since you've been in this role, how many fines have you handed out for people removing trees without going through the proper process?
Okay, I mean, I guess it's all public information. How many fines?
Random. I'm just wondering, like, if you estimated.
None. Usually we can come to some sort of agreement before we have to resort to that. It's always my goal to work with people as much as we can. They're talking about like private property, like people doing things with trees. It's like I said, I always try to reach out and talk and find a resolution before we have to resort to that. We don't want to be those people, just issuing fines.
Can I reframe your question, Tanya, real quick?
Yep.
How many times have you gotten non-compliant people into compliance through education?
Yeah, probably more than a dozen.
Not compliant, but what if they cut the tree down already?
Then people are allowed to do that. We just get them permitted after the fact. So we have documentation, so they are still in compliance. You're allowed to remove 6 trees every 3 years.
But if it's a street tree?
If it's a street tree, then we work on getting them to get one back in the place they removed it per the landscape requirements, and finding the correct tree and getting them planted correctly and all that. So
it's not as good as keeping the tree in the ground, but
yeah.
Without people knowing that they need a permit, and they need to reach out to him, which is why he's doing the HOA outreach, to make sure that people do know that some HOAs, it's the HOA that's responsible for all the street trees. Some of them, most of them, it's the adjacent property owner. People don't move into the house with like a guide to this is how you need to treat your trees.
Yeah.
And only 50 people are going to the website that tells them that they need a permit.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of on-the-ground research, information sharing that needs to happen so that people know better. And hopefully people talk to their neighbors. Also, I know that you definitely do.
Oh, we're working on the board of directors. We're going to put it in a newsletter, and we're gonna invite you out. I don't know when, but we'll invite.
Yeah, so I'm happy to do it. I've done it a handful of times, and I look forward to doing it as often as I can.
Because you're right, people don't know.
Exactly, yeah. And so, we have 100 of last count, which has gone up a little bit, we have 109 HOAs in Tumwater. So, it's a lot. And we probably have 115 by now, because this number's a couple years old, you know, and so we are now getting fully staffed where we can refresh these numbers a little bit, and actually, we just hired a new person that's gonna be in charge of HOAs, in our department for stormwater, and I'm gonna be working with them quite a bit, and they're ones that I get the information from. So, you know, I'll be very busy, so.
Melissa and I talked about this, I don't know if you were here when we talked about it, but having the HOAs put something on their forms before removing trees, that it's a checkbox that says you check with the city. And we're gonna do that, we're gonna update that. In our,
That's a great idea. Yeah.
And then you don't have to be to so many places.
No, that's a thank you. Like, it's legwork, you know, of trying to figure out when the people are home, knocking on doors and leaving my car and coming back 3 or 4 times. So I finally catch somebody, or talking to the neighbors, like, when are they home? You know, it can be really challenging at times. People work, and I get it. So, yeah. And there's lots of other things involved. Sometimes it's PSE and whatnot, and understand like how PSE plays a role in these things and what avenues they go through. So oftentimes it's not that straightforward, I guess.
And to use Mary's neighborhood as an example, sometimes while people may know that trees on their property, we got a customer or a community member complaint that there was a tree on their property next to a power line that used to be part of a Thurston County right-of-way easement, but then when the city annexed the property, that easement wasn't something that the city was part of. So then just the change of mentality on, okay, it was Thurston County's, now it's mine, but it's next to this power line. Who takes care of this tree? And we helped her through it.
Yeah.
Brian and some other staff went out to the site, looked at the tree. It is the adjacent property owner's responsibility, even though maybe 5 years ago when it was Thurston County's jurisdiction, it wouldn't have been. So that's even the same property over many different years, different responsibilities associated with it. So it's not even as simple as this is my tree. When things change in terms of government annexing, for instance, it becomes muddied, and we get phone calls, and Brian gets a lot of phone calls, and he looks into it and gives the appropriate answer and provides assistance and education wherever he can. But Glenwood definitely it's hard to understand the trees there.
It took me a while to understand what was happening, so.
Yeah, I think it's, and the turn of phrase is like, how many people does it take to change a light bulb? I think it took 4 city employees to figure out whose tree it was.
Yeah.
But we're all bright, it's just complicated.
Well, that's a real good suggestion on the HOAs, because
Yeah.
you know, we're living with a bunch of those HOAs that we're counting.
Yeah, and we inherit them.
Now they're annexed into Tumwater, and those people are sitting out there with 25-foot buffers.
Yeah.
Trees that were 40 feet tall, and they're now 100 feet. And so, you know, we've even been involved in some of them where the people will not stay in their house when the wind's above 30. They actually go and get a motel because they can't cut the trees. So.
And, you know, like I said, it's my goal to meet with every HOA eventually. I got a big long list, and I prioritize a handful. So, you know, we will be talking to everybody, make sure everyone's aware. So,
Yeah.
I just have to tell everybody I'm here.
It takes a long time.
It does. I got a career to figure this out. So.
Well, that's the thing with some of the communications that the tree boards had was, you know, when the city puts out the water bill.
Tomorrow,
There's a water bill in.
Stick a sentence in there.
Yep.
On,
Johnson box.
if you're cutting a tree, call the city.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I'll write that down. Thank you.
The,
This is chair.
okay.
Mary has a comment.
Oh, sure.
I searched cut trees recently on the Tumwater website. It's not, it brought me to frequently asked questions where that question does not show up, but it talks about cutting branches and burning branches. It was quite a while to find. But I looked at like, what are the departments for frequently asked questions and which one would trees go under? And it wasn't obvious to me at all. I couldn't find anything there. Didn't find the tree page because I didn't explore to the left. But I think that might be a place for people.
Search terms.
Well, I can go on the back end and update all the search terms. But I'll put on the list. Thank you, Ryan.
Any other suggestions or commentary on tree webpage resources?
I think Brian doing the pruning will be a lot of help for folks. And the right time to prune, that's another thing. People prune like once 100 degrees out in June. Watering their trees, so they don't water their trees in June, and they wonder why they break.
Well, yeah, I have a career to figure all this out.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
If they're linked, what she said, that'll be neat.
Yeah. And Margot's been wonderful to help me get established and get, these messages out, so.
People, I mean, they want the knowledge, they just don't know, and like Mary said, they don't know where to find it, so.
Right now, if you search tree, hopefully you can get to the tree website or webpage, but if you didn't know that, like, the organization of departments, like I do, that were in the water resources and sustainability, you might think it could be in planning, you could think it would be in parks, you could think it would be in transportation and engineering because it's street trees, like.
Yeah, and it's confusing too, because we, being on the board, our president issues out fines, so we're fining people for cutting trees down.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's $25, and we're thinking about raising it. I'm not shy about fining people. So, but it'd be neat to have that checkbox to say, hey, if they do that though, see, but then that's the educational part too. A lot of people just come down and they're like, oh, well, we didn't know whether they did or didn't. We can't, So we're trying to be better at communicating that with folks too. Yeah, I just think the easier the better for folks to find stuff. And I'll supply a lot of pictures. I got tons. She's all over Tumwater, so.
Check on Wednesday for Brian's post about pruning.
Okay. So that's on it's on Facebook, and it's.
City of Tumwater.
Okay. All right.
Thank you all for sharing your suggestions, and I look forward to many.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Being here, Margot.
Have a good night, Margot.
All right. So our next meeting is March. Is that gonna give us enough time for trees? Do we need to do any thing before to order trees, or it sounds like we were working with DNR or somebody, so.
Oh, I'll take care of that. That's for the Arbor Day. Yeah. So they're gonna be, I don't know if they're just gonna share our booth area or bring their own setup or something like that, but they just want to reach out to the community and kind of get to know, how they can be more service to Tumwater.
And we'll order 100 1-gallon pots, same tree split that we did, or plant split that we did last year.
Yeah.
All right. We already have the nice handouts with the indigenous knowledge associated with them, so easy. I will bring the Arbor Day proclamation, and we'll discuss that, make sure that it's written in a way that you all consent to, and we'll get that brought to the council. And between now and then, if you want to think about anyone that you especially want to honor to receive the proclamation, if there's any excellent tree advocate in the community that you want to suggest, feel free to let me know. It could even be you. You are wonderful tree advocates in our community.
There was a little confusion last year with the planting of the tree. It was at the end of the day, and some people came to Trent and I and said, you want to come up to the presentation? And we said, sure. So we walked up there. You want to plant the tree? oh, okay. So,
I have great pictures of this.
yeah.
I feel bad for all of your backs.
I just would advocate again for, maybe the board or the staff to think about, is there someone in the community that we'd like to honor, and recognize for their work in sustainability, and have them plant the tree and ask them to be there at a certain time, and have that kind of better organized than it was. I think it was it wasn't you guys, it was city staff who said, okay, come, the tree's ready to stick in the ground. But if we can get that a little better organized, that'd be great.
I think with Brian here, it will be much more organized.
Meeting with Parks tomorrow.
In the last couple of years, I've made tags to identify the species of the plants. I don't know if you're gonna do that, or you want that done again.
I would love your help.
Yeah, please, yeah, thank you.
If we can just confirm, when you have it confirmed, that this is what we're gonna plant, this is what we're gonna give away, and please let me know, and I'll make the tags.
Thank you. You have wonderful handwriting. It's always very clearly written.
Thank you.
And very nice rocks for the handouts.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the rocks, that's right, okay.
Melissa, we're talking about those rocks for a while, they're very nice.
And I know that, the tree board member reports was towards the end of our agenda too.
Yeah, I think we already talked about it though, with did anybody else have anything they wanted to say on?
Yeah, I was just impressed. Well, first of all, I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't know about this at all until I saw it on the, I don't know if it was Tumwater on Tap or something in December, that had this big report about this survey that had happened, and I wasn't invited to be part of the survey. I didn't never know it happened.
Randomly selected, Jim.
Yeah.
I wasn't either.
Okay. And then, in just reviewing it, I thought, well, there's some stuff here. And does this mean that the citizens of Tumwater want the city of Tumwater to build the roads differently? So they avoid the trees, or they, so we plan a little better. So the habitats, we talked a little bit about corridors. I think there are other organizations involved. I know Alyssa has told me that DOT has got a plan for how they deal with,
Corridors.
yeah, how animals get across I-5, that are migratory animals. I'd like to know a little more about that. And how is Tumwater part of that plan? Are we telling the animals go around Tumwater in order to get from the Cascades to the Olympics, if they're land animals? The riparian zones, of course, some of them are county, some of them are Tumwater, some of ours go into Olympia. I don't think that's tree board stuff, but it's, whose is it? I mean, is somebody covering that for Tumwater? Those sorts of responsibilities for the environment, the natural indigenous environment, is that the tree board's role?
It's all interrelated.
Or is that the planning commission's role? Or is that somebody, Alyssa's on 75 different organizations, collaborating with other cities and counties and stuff. Maybe that's not what the tree board's supposed to be doing, which is another thing that I didn't mention. I assume from our new mayor that our name is going to change to the Urban Forest Management Committee, or the Urban Forestry Committee, from the tree board. So if that happens, does that require a change in all this writing that they're doing? And is this going to happen? And or do
I encourage you to
what?
ask her when
Okay.
she joins us at the March 9th meeting.
Okay.
I have been bringing it to leadership staff, not to the mayor, so that might make it so that it happens quickly for you. But it does require code change, which does require public hearings. Even though it's a small administrative change, it does still have quite a few meetings attached to it to make it happen. We could tie it in with other development code changes that are also happening this year.
And my understanding from informal meetings or discussions with the new mayor is that she's very supportive of that change. She's my neighbor.
All right. Well,
That's the end of my discussion.
okay. Nothing else? All right. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting for tonight. All those in favor?
Okay.
Seconded? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Brody.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mary, for coming.
Show you this one.
Have a good night.